Today we're going to spend some time with the brand new Moto Z2 Play. This is the latest edition phone from Moto, featuring the whole Moto Mods system, which we introduced to you last year with the Moto Z and the Moto Z Play, and we kind of fell in love with them instantly because of the different mod attachments. I remember the Hasselblad mod, which works with this generation, by the way. We had the Pico projector from Lenovo. Well, this year we're going to talk about the Moto Z2 Play, the phone itself, plus we're going to talk about two specific mods that were sent to us to take a look at. So let's dive into these today. Let's focus on the camera for a second because there's a new 12 megapixel camera on the Moto Z2 Play that features a very cool low aperture, which means that you're going to get great low light exposure. We're talking about a f1.7 aperture in a 12 megapixel camera, which is a pretty impressive feat. Plus, the focus on this is focusing in on your subject much faster than before. The front-facing camera is 5 megapixels and features something unique to pretty much any phone out there, and that's a flash. Now, you've experienced selfies where you try to take pictures in dark, bars and different places where concerts and stuff like that, where the light wasn't obviously ideal and your screen pops up and tries to light the environment. Well, not in this case. On the Z2 Play, there's actually a front-facing flash that complements the 5 megapixel camera for perfect selfies every time. Of course, getting to the camera is one of these tricks that we've always wanted to figure out. How do you get to the camera quick? Because if something's happening, you want to get to the camera really quick. Well, with the Z2 Play, a quick flick of the wrist and the camera automatically loads. And then with one click of a button, you can switch between that front-facing camera and, of course, the rear-facing camera. Now, if you remember the original Moto Z series, the Moto Z Play was actually the heavier version. It was kind of like the thicker version of the Moto Z. But now, because this one has slimmed down, I think this has almost become somewhat of the flagship for this device because you've got a really thin profile. You've got, of course, the camera that kind of protrudes in the back there. You've got that really thin profile. You've got the protruding camera in the back there. That's that 12 megapixel rear-facing camera right there. You've got, of course, the connectors in the bottom for the Moto Mod system. On top, you've got your SIM card tray right there. Of course, software plays an incredible role when it comes to the camera on this device. You can do things like customize the focal point, you can make sure you focus on what you want to focus on, adjust exposure, brightness, all those kind of fun filter things you'd expect from any kind of camera app on a phone. There's even a professional mode that lets you control the ISO, lets you control the shutter speed, lets you control exposure, lots of different things that you have full power of over this 12 megapixel camera. Of course, you've got the volume connectors on the side. On the other side, no buttons whatsoever. The fingerprint reader itself is on the actual home button, something that I think we're going to see disappear in the coming months with a lot of these devices. It is not clickable, so it's just a fingerprint reader right there, but it'll work as the home button as well. A couple other areas of improvement on this phone. Number one is the fingerprint reader. It has been changed, it's modified, it's a lot quicker, it's a lot smarter. Of course, you have to register that when you first set up the phone, which is a breeze. You set up a pin, then register your finger or fingers, depending on how many you want to get in on your device. And it's a lot quicker to unlock your phone. Diving into the specifications, this is a great feeling phone in your hand. It features the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 626 processor, Android 7.1.1 Nougat, so the latest Android operating system. The screen is 5.5 inches diagonally, full HD 1080p AMOLED display that's 1920 by 1080, featuring Corning Gorilla Glass. Obviously a no-brainer. 32 gigabytes on board, plus support for a micro SD card up to 2 terabytes. You're going to get 3 gigs of memory in terms of the actual RAM. As I said, we talked about the 12 megapixel autofocus camera. You've got laser autofocus for really quick focusing on your subjects. That 5 megapixel front-facing camera with a flash. Of course, video playback is up to obviously 1080p at 60 frames per second. Sorry, even 4K at 30 frames per second. USB Type-C connector, so you've got the cable for the USB Type-C connector. You've got that super fast charging power supply, obviously for that USB Type-C connector. SIM card removal tool is right there for you as well. So if you take a look here, you also have that headphone jack on the bottom, along with that USB Type-C connector, so there's no need for any kind of dongles or anything when you want to use this device, especially when you want to use the media features. Let's talk about some of the new Moto Mods that are available for this second generation device. This is the JBL Sound Boost 2. JBL, of course, owned by Harman, so you know that you're getting both the JBL name and, of course, that Harman name. Let me flip that over so you can actually see it there. On the actual speaker itself, you've got this kickstand, so you can actually set your device down quite nicely on any kind of surface, and you get that incredible sounding speakers. Of course, this flips right onto the device thanks to the connectors and the magnetic connector right there on the bottom. But this is incredible sound in your pocket on the go whenever you want it. And there's a rechargeable battery in this actual speaker itself, so you can either charge that separately or it charges while your actual device is charging on the actual, with the actual charger. Not only is this a great party device, but it's splash proof, so you can not worry about getting it wet. It's got 10 hours of battery built in. I did allude to battery. There's 10 hours of extra battery power built in, so you're not going to end the party. You're going to be the life of the party when it comes to using this Moto Mod. And speaking of battery power, let's talk about the Turbo Power battery pack. This is designed specifically to actually supplement the battery power on your device. This is a great kind of always on, always attached accessory for your Moto Z2 Play, sorry. Beautiful design, a nice kind of tactile feedback on the back. You can have you have a button right here to show you the battery that's on board. Obviously, this is brand new, kind of right out of the box. There's actually a box right here, just opened it, so there's no charge on this yet. When you snap it onto your device, you get an extra 3,490 milliamps of battery power. That's doubling the power that's on the phone itself. So this is definitely one of those juice pack things that you definitely want to keep handy. And of course, all these Moto Mods, if you didn't know how the system worked, not only does it work magnetically, so you can just pop these on and off, but you have this cutout for the camera, so you're always getting great quality shots. Sometimes with phones, you have these cases that cover the camera and offer some reflection and some color alteration. These do not do that. These make sure that you always get the best picture when you're taking shots with the actual device. So this is the Moto Z2 Play from our good friends at Lenovo. Thank you to them for sending it over to us. We're going to put these to the test for the next couple weeks, and we're going to come back again, go in the comments, tell us what you want us to talk about, what you want us to dive into. Perhaps it's the photo features, maybe it's the battery life, maybe it's some more Moto Mods. Whatever you want us to talk about, we will do on this brand new Moto Z Play from our good friends at Lenovo.